Is it really worth going to a developing country to get medical care instead of sticking around in Canada and waiting months on end to get an appointment with your doctor if you are not critically ill? Today, I'm going to share a personal story of getting medical care in both countries for the same medical concerns and my take on the Paraguayan medical system compared to Canada. In mid-2021, I developed symptoms of a potential health concern that if there was anything wrong, it should be addressed as soon as possible. I decided to call the walk-in clinic, and I had to call them because it was mid-COVID time. You couldn't just walk in and see a doctor. So I called ahead and got an appointment for the next day. The reason I decided to go to the walk-in clinic first before getting an appointment with my family doctor, my thinking was if the doctor at the walk-in clinic found a reason of concern, then I would get an appointment sooner with my family doctor. They didn't do anything but a general exam at the clinic and recommended that I see my family doctor. With her, I did get an appointment for the following week, which was not too bad, and she ordered an ultrasound for me to get done. I ended up having to wait a couple of weeks and just deciding to call the ultrasound department at the hospital myself because they just weren't calling me, and see if they had booked me an appointment, forgot to call me, or what the deal was, and they informed me that they had just not had an appointment available in the near enough future to get me in. The following week, they called me and gave me an appointment, but this appointment date was still, again, about 2 weeks out. At this point, it has been about 2 months since I started having symptoms, and my pain was, at times it was worse than others, and there was nothing really that I could do about the pain. And this made it difficult to do everyday things. My youngest really likes to cuddle, and sometimes I just had to be like, I just can't right now because I am in pain, so you're just gonna have to sit beside me instead of cuddling me, because I didn't know what to do about my pain and I just had to wait this out. So I finally got the ultrasound done, and about a week later, my doctor sent me an email and she had reviewed what the conclusion was, and she informed me that I did have a growth, but it was non-cancerous from what they could see. So they were just going to do a 6-month follow-up and see if it had progressed, stayed the same, disappeared, and see what was going on there. Which, being the Canadian medical system, this seemed fine. It seemed this is just what they would do. I didn't expect to get more help than that, considering it was showing that it was nothing critical. So, all right, I took that. I did the 6-month follow-up, and that also showed just the same thing again, and they were just going to do another follow-up after that again, another 6 months later. So, all right, I figured as long as they're keeping an eye on it, do follow-up every 6 months, and the second one was just about a year after I started getting the pain, getting the symptoms. But at that point, we already knew that we were moving to Paraguay, and I had heard great stories about people having great results in Paraguay when it came to the medical care. So I knew that I was going to be going to the doctor pretty shortly after getting there. So I wasn't too concerned about the doctors not doing anything in Canada. My pain was going away, so it made me a little more at ease with the whole thing. So in the first week of being in Paraguay, I shared my story with a friend, and she right away offered to get me an appointment with a doctor that she knew English and Low German, which either one of those languages was fine with me. And 2 days later, I had an appointment. Now, we got acquainted, and she told me herself that she was well aware. She herself had lived in Canada, and she actually had cancer while living in Canada. And if you are not severely ill, you are going to be kicked down the road, and you are going to have to wait for appointments or be a little bit pushy sometimes to even get anything done. So she does the exam, and she does recommend that I get an ultrasound done. She also informs me that if there is something there to be concerned about, or if they do find anything on the ultrasound, they would prefer to do a surgery and remove the growth if it still is in fact there, what they had found in Canada already. Then they would prefer to remove it and get it tested, but ultimately that would be up to me. I could decide to just not do the surgery if I didn't want to, if it wasn't anything serious, but they would recommend regardless to get it removed if it in fact still was there. And that was something I had not experienced before, to have a doctor give me that approach, to recommend it, but ultimately leave it up to me. So I was already very happy from the get-go. So I have the appointment, and let me tell you, they are so much more thorough with the ultrasound than what they were in Canada. Like, if there's anything to be found, they're going to find it. So that was close to the end of 1 week that I had the ultrasound, and then by the middle of the next week I had another consult with my doctor to see what the results were, and it ended up being that it had, whatever there was had disappeared. So that was really good news, and I could just finally know why I was not having the pain anymore. And I was just very happy that I had gotten a second opinion and that I had done my due diligence in knowing that everything was fine. So that was 3 appointments within a 1 week time span. And the total cost for all 3 appointments, 2 general consults and then 1 ultrasound, that was about $100, just under $100 that it costed. And to me, that is very affordable. But even for anyone who does live here, they can get medical insurance, which brings that down even more. And they actually get most of it covered. I think it's about 80% that the insurance covers. And even the insurance is pretty affordable. Now, just to clarify, I do know there are people with much bigger healthcare concerns than what I went through. Mine was a concern because of not knowing for sure what was going on. I do know there's people who have a harder time waiting. There's people who go through so much, and I really do hope that they get the help that they need. Now, you can probably already guess what my opinion is. I am very happy that I got a second opinion here, and I really like the healthcare that I got. And obviously, before anyone goes anywhere else to get medical care, do your own research. I'm sure there's places that you would want to avoid, obviously, and depends on your situation. So please, this is just my own take on this. This is not medical advice in any sort of way. I'm not saying do this, do that. I am saying do your research, and that is that. Now, thank you for watching, and please subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss the next upload, and have a wonderful day.